Hello, welcome to everybody. We start our new event of Chi è di Scena, ITI Missed the Word. And today we have the pleasure, the honor, and also we are very happy to have the North Macedonian Center of ITI. And is another meeting we have hosted Russia, Georgia, United States, Croatia, and Spain, and today North Macedonia. And I want to at first give the greetings by Tobias Biancone, Director General of ITI, that is engaged in another problem with his family, and it's impossible for him to stay with us. He will try to reach us later if it's possible, but of course I'm giving his greetings for everybody. And it's a very important event for us because we are the opportunity to know better the different centers all over the world. And also it's a big pleasure for us to host North Macedonian Center with Ivanka Apostolova, that is the president of Center of ITI in North Macedonia, and we have appreciated a lot her activities, her brilliant presence for the ITI community is a very important energy for us. And Thank also, you. I'm sure that she did a great work to host a very active and stimulated presence of the community of performing arts. We know very well the period that we are living, and also we are very tired to say every time the pandemic and so on. We are women and men of performing arts, and we are acting and reacting always on this. And we are very happy to listen to you, and also I give the floor to Ivanka to start with this new meeting. Yes. Please.
Thank you very much for this wonderful invitation and opportunity to present my colleagues who are from Macedonia and who are lately working and living in various countries in Europe. And first, I will just shortly introduce myself, and on the very end, after everybody's session, I will talk a little bit about our latest activities producing video theater projects. My name is Ivanka Apostolova. I'm president and head of Macedonian ITI Center, reformed in 2013. My profession is anthropologist of art. I'm program producer, creator of video theater projects, and visual dramaturg. First, I would like to invite to open this session Anna Batava. She's a young theater director and producer from Macedonia. Lately, with her family, she's living and working in Gabrovo. She's founder of Spam Studios. And Anna, please introduce your work and your reflections and experience performing on various festivals, and your experience with Macedonian theater scene and Bulgarian and European scene in general. Please.
Sorry, because has reached us Tobias. We have just started. Welcome, Tobias. Hello. We are very happy that you are with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's nice to be here, and thanks for the invitation and for the opportunity to share my theater experience in Bulgaria and a little bit in Macedonia. I'm Anna Bateva, and let's start. This is my story, so let's start with the PowerPoint, please. Yeah, great. Next slide, yes, shortcut. Yeah, thank you. I'm born in Macedonia, but I studied theater directing in Bulgaria. After graduation, it happened that I stayed there, and I graduated. And quickly after that, I started working in one of the Sophia's bars. And this really motivated me to start making independent plays. Over the years, while working at the bar, I have made 3 independent plays, completely enthusiastic and without any budget, with a team which trusted me absolutely. And it's about the cabaret Powder Cake. Yeah, you can go next slide. Yeah, next. Yes. It's about the cabaret Powder Cake by Dan Dukovsky. After that, next slide, it's a look back. Yeah, this is photo from Powder Cake, actually. Next slide, please. Next. There's some photos. Next. Yes, this is a second one, the Look Back in Anger by John Osborne. And the third one was monodrama Everything on the Table, based on text by Charles Bukowski. These plays were played on different stages. The play Powder Cake, because of the big team, 6 actors and 5 musicians, it was impossible to keep the show going. By contrast, the monodrama Everything on the Table is still being played today for the 6th season on the stage of the Theater Stomato, and maybe the only stage in Bulgaria that helps performance for free and for the benefit of the artists. And with these plays, we were part of many festivals: Russia, Turkey, Albania, Serbia, Macedonia, Kosovo, Moldova, and we received many awards. So next one. Yes, this is Bukowski. And the meeting with Nicolae Couleada is the next part. In 2017, I received my first offer to work in Macedonia. In the theater in Strumica, I started to work on the play Murlin Murlo by Nicolae Couleada. By the way, Vasil Mihail is playing in this play. Yeah. And to settle the copyright, I was able to contact the author personally, and shortly after the premiere, he invited us to be part of his festival Couleada Plays in Ekaterinburg. Yeah, next slide. Great, this is Nicolae Couleada. And I will not say how meaningful was this for a young director like me who wanted to develop, especially the cultural shock that I received during those 10 days at the festival opened my eyes to the future and about what I generally want to do in my life. And for 10 days, I had plenty of time to figure out how a Couleada theater works, to talk with him and ask him organizational stuff that interests me. And I can talk a lot about the theatrical aesthetic there and the freedom of creativity, but it will hardly take a time. So more important is my meeting with him, with Nicolae Couleada, and his theater world, which absolutely changed my ideas about theater entirely, my attitude and dedication. And before continuing, yeah, next slide. Now is very important to share my state theater experience. After 10 days, when I come back from Ekaterinburg, I was really enthusiastic and full of ideas. And before I have a deal with one state theater to work there. And but what I encountered there was a lazy and indifferent actors, manager, which is in my growth and realization saw some kind of competition. In few words, provincial intrigues on a very low level, and theater was the last thing that interested them. So I left the theater and became a freelancer. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. And last but not least, the most important fact is that we were traveling a lot to international theater festivals, and we meet a lot of people and troops. And all these facts and problems illustrate the reasons because of which SPAM Studios started. So next slide, please. Next slide. The beginning of SPAM Studios, while after leaving the State Theater, 2018 maybe, I already had the idea of creating an independent organization with like-minded people, and we're very interested in socially related topics, contemporary art and new forms. And that's why, next slide, yes. And that's why our motto of SPAM Studios, yeah, this is the crew. Stefan, president, when owner, me. Next slide. Vasilina Vincenzo is actress and Russian translator. This is Slava Jurova, actress. Next slide. Here is our PR specialist, Mina Takova, and Hristo Hristov, our graphic designer. Next slide. Yeah, and because of the socially related topics, our motto became any resemblance to any persons or events cannot be accidental. Next slide, please. And then we have, when we have officially paper organization or a registered organization, it was time to focus on our first event. So I wanted the first performance of SPAM Studios to be strongly thematically, while addressing the issue of problems at the state theaters. So that's how was born this our play Hen, based on text by Chekhov and Kulada. Next one, yeah, strictly thematic, issue of problems at the state theaters, lack of attitude of the artists. It was the topics of the play. Next one. And of course, in addition to rehearsals, we were looking for other sponsors, and there were a lot of partners and sponsors, like next one, Macedonian Cultural Center in Bulgaria. They give to us our space, their space for rehearsals. We provide theater space for the premiere show. Next one. Printing houses, musicians for the opening party, restaurants, tourist agency for the airplane ticket for Nicolae Kulada, who came for the first time in Bulgaria on our show. Here we are with Nicolae Kulada on the press conference. Yeah, next one. Here are the musicians for the opening party. Yes, next one. A lot of, yeah, we were a lot of media and TV partners. Tourist agency, yeah, next one. Restaurants, promoters for the show. And after that, we made some partnership with Sfumato, where these two plays, Hen and Everything on the Table, still play every month till today. Yeah, next one. Next one. And what else? There are some achievement and international forums with Hen, like in London. Next one. Kosovo, an international theater festival. Next one. Skopje. Where is Serbia? Also, here is Serbia. Yeah, with the Bulgarian consul. Skopje, my favorite Faces Without Mask festival. Our actress was nominated for the best actress on Bulgarian National Awards, Asker Foundation. And maybe, oh yes, 2 awards on Othello, best play and best actress. That's it for him. Next one. Oh yes, the most important festival for me and Spam Studios was next one, please. Yeah, was the Vaktango Festival for theater managers, and it was very meaningful festival for young theater managers on independent sector. Yeah, and our second play was last year, Natasha's Dream by Jaroslava Pulinovic. Next one, and the play have 2 nominations for National Bulgarian Awards and Best Actress on Mono Act in Kosovo Awards for the actress. Next one. And our third independent play is Uterus by Dejan Dukovsky. And that's it. Maybe we have a lot of upcoming projects. Our first international collaboration will be this June with the old woman from Calcutta with Theater Golden Yelets from Macedonia. I can't wait to start it. And after that, we're gonna make it some monodrama. I really love the monodrama form. Next one. Belgrade trilogy from Biljana Srbljanovic in the theater in Gabrovo, where I'm part of from the last year. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Anna. Because soon you will go, maybe we can open with you one short Q&A session. And I invite all our colleagues in the group to ask questions directed to you. So please, do you have any questions? Please, Roberta, Fabio.
I would like to, how is it to work in another country with another language? How do you manage with the language issue, but also with the cultural mixing of your Macedonian background and the Bulgarian culture in the performances and in your artwork in general? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question because I'm here like 20 or 13 maybe years in Bulgaria. And I know the language, but it's not a big problem, because the big problem is the conflict now between Macedonia and Bulgaria on political level, and it's a bigger problem, not the language, because there's a lot of hate on in the media. Social media, and it reflects to the audience, like when they understand, she's from Macedonia, and I don't like to go on her play. But I hope that it's gonna pass. Yeah, it's difficult. But it's not possible. It's not possible.
Yes.
And I have one question about what did you had difficulties to gain author's rights for staging Jaroslava Pulinovic's play? She's a very talented Russian contemporary playwright and very popular, very famous. So she was our guest in 2018.
Yeah, I know.
While we were collaborating inside Inter-Europe, very nice project. And what is your experience with this process of asking for authorship rights for staging?
You asked me about the process or about the author rights? I didn't get it.
Actually, the process and the costs and everything that is crucial.
Yeah. The process with this text was really inspiring, because the text is very direct and brutal, and it was very important for me here to find the real context of the play, just the problem to be bigger when the audience watch the play. I was very lucky that I have a good actress for that, because she have that nature of the character, Natasha, and it was very natural and very close to her. And about the rights, I don't know, the theater pay them, but I remember that Yaroslava was waiting 1 year for that. and and I thank to her that everything is okay now for the patient. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for Anna? In which period you are going to come again in Skopje to stage the performance in partnership with Zlatan Jelec Theater in Skopje?
Yeah, with Zlatan Jelec, we started this June, 1st of June, yeah. And in the middle of July will be our premiere show. So you're invited, all of you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right, Anna, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Just shortly, this is a good opportunity to give compliments that you make a great adaptations of two selected parts of Moscow Petushki.
Yeah, with you.
Was based on that text. So
yeah.
It was great. Now I applied as a producer. I applied the project on various festivals. It is interesting that the film section festival, particularly the area for art house films and experimental films, are accepting theatrical experiments based on who belongs in the genre or hybrid genres like video film or internet theater or video theaters or digital theaters and similar.
Yeah.
So good, a little bit surprising because we are coming from the theater and focus on theater, but why not in the name of unpredictable variations of interdisciplinarity?
Yeah. So it's nice, really.
Yes, Anna, I wish you all the best in your life, health, and career, and keep in touch, right?
Yeah, of course. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I would like to invite great performer, actor, and director Peter Miloševski, who is London-based British Macedonian artist. And his work in recent years has focused primarily on pioneering solo projects, including site-specific projects appearing at a wide range of festivals, chamber theaters, and non-conventional venues across London, the UK, and Europe. Peter, please.
Well, hello from London. This was a wonderful introduction. I wish I'd known this person you're talking about, but how very flattering of you. I would like to walk you through some of the things, and I'm going to share my screen so I can show you some pictures and stuff. And I'll promise I'll keep it as short as possible because we don't want to keep you here until forever. Yeah, I mean, very shortly, I've been living in London really a very long time now. Pretty much, I mean, I'm born and raised in Macedonia, but I haven't lived there for maybe 20 years now, which is more than half of my life. And practically I've been educated elsewhere as well. Actually, I studied and I graduated drama acting at the National Academy of Theatre and Film Art in Sofia. And then I did work professionally there for a couple of years before moving to London, where I did my master's degree at Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. and I've been living here for something like 14 years now. And it's rather interesting that, you know, I'm loving every moment how I still maintain the connections with Macedonia, which, as I said, having lived out of there for more than half of my life, is rather extraordinary that I can still do get invited and people show some genuine interest about my works that I produced. And namely, for the last quite a few years, more than a decade, I've been, somehow it started very naturally, but I very soon in a way, I found my niche into kind of performing and creating solo performances, and with some of the collaborators which we've had the chance and the opportunity to maintain our professional relationship over all these years. So let's have a look. Can you see some kind of shared screen? Or maybe not. This is going to be a rather difficult. I need to somehow, he asked me for privacy. This is very annoying.
There is the green button under your screen.
Yeah, I can't hear you. There's how very extraordinary. I can't share the screen. Well, bugger. This is really annoying now. Now, what is happening? System preferences, details, allowed.
There is on the base, share your screen.
No, yeah, I do that.
Okay.
I do that, but then for some reason, my MacBook is doesn't want to permit me to. Well, how very annoying. Okay, well, in that case, I'm not showing anything, but I've sent the materials to the person. I'm sorry, I don't know what your name is, and maybe you can do that on my behalf.
I have some videos.
Yeah, you have the video, but also I think you have my website there, and I've sent very neatly all the links that you can share. My apologies for this. I'm not quite sure what's happening. So yeah, going back to that, I did create quite a few solo performances based on very much about sexuality and politics and people standing on the verge of their existence and how they strive for a greater being. And somehow it turned out that all these shows are people take great interest in them. And I've been quite lucky and honored and privileged to be selected to many international festivals around Europe over the last years. And it's been rather extraordinary that all these shows have won quite a few international theatre awards, which is beyond flattering. I think we can maybe show, let's say, one of my very last ones, created back in the old normal world, The Passion According to Bibi. If you can play maybe the trailer of that, so I can talk about it. I really don't understand why I can't.
Which one you want?
The Passion According to Bibi. Well. I'm so sorry about this.
I have a quote, the beautiful, love, the passion according to Bibi.
Yes, that one.
Okay.
The Passion According to Bibi.
Okay, I will see.
Now, at the same time, I would like to talk about it as well while this is playing. I never knew this was going to happen, but before the pandemic, I created a show called The Passion According to Bibi, which is about a sex robot and how in an extraordinary circumstances we get tangled on our own with our own technology, being completely alone and isolated. And it's a story about a person who somehow in an extraordinary net of circumstances ended up in a very close relationship with his own, so to speak, sex robot, and how these two personalities interchange and they swap roles. And it's almost, I couldn't believe it. For me, it was more than like a prophetic performance, because very soon after that, we ended up having the lockdown, which especially in a country like the UK struck in a very, very fierce way. And we've been under lockdown since I can't even remember when. It's been way too long. Maybe since last year. I don't even know what year we are now, if I have to be honest. And this show was, it's one of the, not one of the, but the very last thing I did create in the old beautiful world, which I don't think it will ever come back, not in the way we knew we used to have it. Thank you. And I would have shown you the pictures, which for some reason I'm not able to. I don't know why. Of some of the other shows. I've created a very close collaboration with Antonella Petracaro, who is my very, very, very faithful costume designer, and she created some of the most extraordinary costumes for all of my shows, and some of her designs also have been praised as namely the one for The Beautiful. If we can see The Beautiful, that costume was I can't remember now. I think it was 2015, maybe, or 2014. It was voted for one of the most exciting costume designs by the Society of Costume Designers in London, and it won the award, Antonella namely. And for example, this is a show, and it tackles kind of the idea of what beauty is and what it means to be beautiful nowadays. And it tells a story of a very young person who very early in the childhood has been persistently sexually abused by his own father. And he tries to reconstruct himself as a creature of the most wondrous beauty. And also this particular show was selected to quite a few festivals, and it did win a few international theatre awards. And thank you. And for the last few months, I've been I engaged myself during lockdown to create a couple of video performances, which again, for some reason, they had a very interesting echo to many people who had seen it, and also they got selected for a few film festivals. And I did do them just in order to kind of mainly just to have fun and save myself in this period of in the period of complete deadness, of basically nothing happening to us, especially in London, where we've been in a lockdown ever since March last year. And I did create two video performances, You Will Marry Me and My Dreams Will Be Your Dreams. and they 15-minute video performances, which, as I said, had a very, very interesting life on its own. Both speak about people who, in a very strange circumstances, end up being in a complete lockdown themselves. Again, it explores the whole thing through sexuality and gender, very popular thing nowadays. And what are we going to see? Yes, maybe this is, yes, my dreams will be your dreams. And I think you can skip through it if you like, because we don't want to see the whole thing. This is a 15-minute thing. And I did create these performances with elements from costume to camera to everything possible found at home. Texts from books being found at home, selected texts. And yeah, maybe we can just watch this thing and this couple of minutes.
A sailor has left the sea. His ship has left the port. The king has left the queen, and a miser has left his gold. It's like that. A widow has left her grief. A crazy woman has left the madhouse. And your smile has left my lips. It's like that. You will leave me. You will leave me. You will leave me. You will come back to me. You will marry me. You will marry me. The knife marries the wound. The rainbow marries the rain. The smiles marries the tears. The caress marries the frown. It's like that. And fire marries ice. And death marries life. And life marries love. You will marry me. You will marry me. You will marry me.
Thank you. And yeah, so this is what I've been engaged in doing for the last few months, and many people because approached me for an interview, and back then when obviously I didn't know as anybody else what this is going to be, and they asked me about the future of theatre, and very shortly before I finish, I just want to say that because back then in those interviews I said that maybe we at the beginning of inventing a brand new language, when theatre is going to take a brand new form, and it's going to merge even further into some kind of video or visual thing, so to speak, and it will take its a kind of new form, but that was then, and now I see that thankfully that won't be the case, and thank God for that, because now after everything that has happened, we do know that there's a word for these sort of things, and it's called film, and it's been going on for just slightly over 100 years, and it's been fun and it's been wonderful. But ever since, even back then, I said this was really wonderful, and I'm thankful for all the praise I won for these two things, but I do hope this is not the future. And from this point of view, 22nd of April 2021 it's more than obvious that this is not the future, and it's rather absolutely wonderful. And we've got no idea when are we going to come back, even though in countries like Bulgaria, I see them on videos, they perform all the time. I haven't stepped in a theater as an audience for more than a year. Like I don't even know what's that, let alone being able to perform. But we do know that something is being prepared, and nothing will destroy the authenticity of live performance, of live theatre. And no matter how long this horror lasts, and no matter how difficult it is in our country, especially in the United Kingdom, and it is monstrously difficult, more than probably no other country in Europe, I can tell you, things will take their own shape, and theatre will continue as such. And live experience of a live performance will not have any kind of substitute, and that is absolutely wonderful. And we should be very happy about it, that one way or another theatre will continue as such.
Peter, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like kindly to ask you to continue with Philip, and at the very end of all your session to continue with Q&A. Is it all right? Do you agree?
Yeah, okay. It's just I have only 45 minutes left, so I hope I'll be here until and it's 3:45 in my time now, so I'll be here at 3:30 as we agreed initially.
Then let's start with the questions.
Yes.
Let's forget a little
very
bit
quickly.
Yes, let's forget about COVID. 1 year ago, I remember that you were invited to perform in Delft Theater in Berlin, and that was excellent. How can I say, a new phase of your career. So I'm very much interested in your personal experience between the system of performing and perception in Delft in Berlin, in compare with the UK fringe festivals, London alternative scene. What kind of experience comes up then in you?
Yes, so I was invited, and I did 3 performances of each one of my 2 shows. First one was Love, which I created a few years ago, and it's based on a real life story which happened in Germany quite a few years ago, when one of the lovers, 2 men, eats the other one just to experience the ultimate sexual nirvana. So this is what the show is all about. I play both characters. And the second one was The Passion According to Bibi, and it was rather interesting to see how the Germans are going to, the Berliners, we can't say London and think about English people, because London is not England. But it was, in a way, very interesting. My general feeling is that independent scene is independent, and it's still far, far away from state-subsidized theatre that Germans have. And I learned that from experience, and also from all the shared contacts I had there. It's almost like 2 different worlds. You can't even get in touch with a state theatre. It's almost impossible, because no matter how extraordinary and avant-garde we think that Berlin theatre is, still state theatre is a very kind of a platform that it has its own life, and it has its own cliches, and they could be the most avant-garde, but they're still a cliche, especially when you see them once, twice, 3 times, on and on and on again. And independent theatre is people who just pretty much don't give a damn about anything, and they just go for it, which is fantastic. But you can't compare it with the UK, because still in Germany the subsidies are just, I mean, we're talking about millions and millions of euros discrepancy, whilst in the UK, the state subsidized theatre, there's no such a thing, simply because everything is deregulated and privatized here. And even if you have an institution like the Royal Opera House, which receives the biggest portion of money per year from the government, still that's only 30%. The rest of the 70% they have to do through sponsorship and merchandise and restaurants and shops in their buildings, etc. which is great because it brings people so they can talk and read the books they sell in the bookstores, and it could have an interaction of a sort. Yeah, I'm definitely more excited about independent theatre, and I'm not saying this because necessarily the independent theatre has more interesting things to show. Very often they're quite boring, not particularly good really, but it's more daring because at the end of the day, you know, if you fail, it's your own failure, and then you strive for the next one. Was if you're in a public institution, especially in a context like nowadays, where it's not just the money, but it's the identity politics, where everybody is terrified of accepting some more daring and challenging work, simply because unless they know you very well and they know that you won't step out of something which is pre-established, even if it's the most radical thing, in quotations, it's very, very difficult. And in the UK, especially, it's going to be even more difficult, simply because, you know, back in Macedonia or in Bulgaria, we're talking about employed actors who maybe they are in a lockdown, maybe they don't perform, but the shows are there, the performances are there, they're just waiting for few rehearsals and they're ready to step in and perform the show. Whilst here, we don't have a show. We don't have employed actors. We don't have employed people. So every single time, it's a brand new thing. And this is why it's even more difficult to establish theatre post-pandemic especially. And it's going to be very difficult, and it's going to be very challenging, much more challenging than any other time before. But we are here. And, you know, whoever is serious about going forward, and if this is your true calling, if this is something that you're so deeply, deeply passionate about, of course you will go on and you will continue creating, because it's the only way. Nothing else matters.
Can you tell me, Petar, now, because I was watching, I had opportunity to enjoy your performance in live, and you are very focused, very intense, very multi-layered, passionate, very firmly you build your characters, which I admire. Ne? So tell me, please, can you describe me precisely the emotion and the frustration of such a great performance, who is now under lockdown, and you are cut off direct interaction and direct energetical interaction with the audience?
Yes, in a way, in the beginning, it was really wonderful for me, because I have suffered a lot by establishing myself, and suddenly by by not being the only one, it was rather amazing. I was like, yay, I'm not the only one struggling anymore. We all are collectively. I'm joking. It was a good rest, I have to say. It was a good rest. Up to a certain point, when it wasn't a good rest anymore, when you do know that this will go on and 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 on again until God knows when. Really, we have simply no idea how long this is going to last for. Ever since March last year, there was only 3 weeks where some of the theatres dared to open with something very quickly assembled together, some kind of solo shows, something. And that closed down again up until now, still. The first performances are going to be 17th of May, and we are still hoping that this exclusively out, for example, one of the biggest festivals, Edinburgh Festival, everything is going to be staged outdoors. So they're, for example, they're building tents where everything is going to be performed, because also we are talking about Scotland, where it rains persistently. So, you know, they do build these sort of things for the festival to take place outdoors, definitely not indoors. It's not just the audience that have been cut out of. I haven't literally touched anybody except from my partner. The only person who has touched me was my dentist in a couple of occasions. That's how difficult the situation has been here. We are not just alienated from the audience watching us, we are alienated from seeing our families, which is true for many other people, but also by being touched and touch somebody. This is time for rethinking, and it's going to go on and on, which is good. I do hope, I'm not certain, however, but I do hope that he's going to filter some emotions. And as I said a few minutes ago, for those who truly know who they are, what they want, and how they want to proceed with this, if they want to proceed at all for the rest of their lives, they will find a way, because we will always going to find a way, because there's no any other way than finding your own way.
True. This is a test for the true vocation. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we've all been tested numerous of times, but this is like for the final diploma, maybe. You get a PhD out of this.
Peter, thank you very much. I have a lot of questions, but I invite my colleagues here to share a question.
It is very, what? It is very impressive, your work. I think it's very difficult also to work alone. I mean, when you are with other actors, you can share the fatigue. Do you like to work alone first? Second, how do you realize your performances? Where do you find the ideas of your works? I'm not entirely alone. I have my own collaborators. Yes, I'm the kind of the person who hold the thread in his own hands, but I do have people that I collaborate when it comes to sound, costume, and design. And they're the most fascinating people. Yes, it is difficult, but we do love what we do. We have a true passion about it, and we are pragmatic, but we don't do painful compromises. So this is why this is really wonderful. Yes, it is maybe more difficult to be on stage, but it depends who you ask. Some people find it much more easier to be with on their own rather than many people on stage. And you know, this is all kind of the difference between film and stage acting, which are two different worlds. And many people, they can reach the age of 70 something and they can be the most experienced actors, but they would never ever dare to make a solo performance. Simply they would be crap in that. And that's the truth of the matter. Well, some people, even, you know, you can be the most extraordinary film actor, but on stage you can be rubbish. And you know, this is just a very individual thing, and that has nothing to do with what kind of quality the actor is. Yeah, where do I find my my inspiration? I find my inspiration all the time. I find my inspiration by just looking at you. You know, I have a person who just turned off his camera, Georgi Rizeski. I never met him in my life, so hello, I say. He was, you know, I'm wondering why he's chewing his chewing gum all the time, and I'm asking questions like that. Or, you know, Ivanka, you know, how her light falls over her forehead on the camera. I think it's rather interesting, kind of, it's very symmetrical. Or, you know, I can ask all sorts of things about Philip, who also I've never met before. You know, it's all about looking at people's face and asking questions, who they are, why they are like that, what their story is all about, and make a connection to things which are rather interesting and intriguing nowadays, which are actual and factual. And you do try to be as authentic as possible, and you just go for it. And you know, my shows are very visual and very physical, and they feature a lot of music and a lot of style, very much spoken word as well. They're not ballets or whatever, you know, but they're kind of, as people once said, the most incredible symphony of spoken word, costume, design, music, and movement, and everything somehow collides together. And this is how you reach. Probably you just have to find the inner balance and see how all these different elements can work together. Thank you very much. You've got a lot of people to talk with. I don't want to bother you anymore. because
Thank you very much, Peter, for,
thank you,
your
thank you.
inspiring expose and reflections.
Thank you so much, and sorry for not being able to show you the rest of the photos. You can go on my website, everything is there. Bye.
I like to invite Filip Ristovski, who is born in Bitola in Macedonia, and he's a theater actor, performer, drama teacher, and dancer. He lives and works in Bucharest, Romania, and he's employed in Notara Theater. He teaches at the National University of Music in Bucharest, and he's best known for his brilliant one-man show, Nijinsky. And I would just like to add that he's very characteristic of his appearance that associate on burst of charm, on the stage and out of stage. So Filip, please, I invite you to start with your presentation.
Hello, nice to meet you. Congratulations to all of you for this wonderful meeting, and thank you for the opportunity to meet all these wonderful artists and people all around the world. You said the most about me. I will ask our colleague to put the PowerPoint, which I've done it very shortly because I didn't have time. Now I'm rehearsing at the theater, and I also work with my students because we're supposed to finish 2 projects for the festival of the university, which is called Opera Mania, and it's going to be online for the first time. So we work a lot about it. And we have deadlines. Okay, we can go to the next one. This is my picture. These are the photos. I will tell you about the photos. I'm an actor. I was born in Macedonia. I'm also a singer. I finished my master's degree is about opera singing here at the university where I'm teaching now. These photos are from the musical My Fair Lady, which is one of the biggest show that was played in the biggest hall, Sala Palatului in Romania, for like in front of 4,500 people. It was the hall where Ceausescu would do his communist meetings and stuff, but now we're using it for the concerts and all the big, and also George Enescu, one of the biggest classical festivals for classical music, is done in that hall, one of them. Okay, we can go to the next one. This is from my premiere. The first Turandot was the premiere. It is the stage director Catalina Buzoianu who took me since I was student in the 3rd year, and she gave me the leading role. And my debut is at Bulandra Theater, which is one of the most famous theaters in Romania, and also in it was something unrealistic for me. My partner was Maya Morgenstern, which is a pretty famous actress all around the world. She played Maria in the Passions of Christ, the movie of Mel Gibson, for example, and many others. And the other one is Kana Hashimoto. She's also a student. She's a Japanese, and I also played with her, and we were colleagues during the faculty, during the studies. The other picture is also from another project of Madame Catalina Buzoianu, which was called Odyssea 2001. It was a scenario, and we were traveling. It was the biggest tours that we done, and one of the most important experiences of our lives. So all the actors and all the technicians and all the people who were involved in this project we said our life is until Odyssea and after Odyssea. So the show was about Madame Catalina made this scenario, and we traveling with the ship, and we remade the road of Ulysses with Argonauts, all the important points. So it was a tour like for 2 months. The ship was a warrior ship of Romanian Academy of Navy, and it was really nice. So this is actually on the heliport of the boat. One of the pictures, I was playing Orfeu, and I was also singing a lot of Macedonian music and Macedonian stuff, because the show was like involved in many different languages. So in every port when we were playing, some of the actors came and play in the native language of the country where we were performing. So I can say that, and also with the other actors, we learned the text from one port to the other during the sea. We worked and we learned the text in that language. So we played it in Romanian, English, French, Spanish, Italian, and I played also in Serbo-Croatian language when we were in Split in Croatia and Kotor in Montenegro. It was really wonderful experience. Okay, we can go to the next one. Here is from different shows. I told you I'm also a singer. This is the one from down with the knife is Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet, the musical. The one from upper was a character that was invented. It's a maestro of ceremony. So it was, I had the smallest part, but I had like 10 costumes and 10 characters that I supposed to switch and play. It was really nice, and I was also singing a lot. The biggest picture is from the experimental, how can I say, we do an atelier, a workshop in Notara Theater when I'm hired as an actor. I'm hired for like 3 or 4 years. Since then, I was a freelancer, and I know how difficult it is. I'm still a freelancer because I still have my own projects, and it is difficult. But the good thing is that we are allowed to rehearse, so we're working as usual, and we were also open for a few times for the audience, so we were able to play. And now during the summer we go to the open stages outside, so we will be quite busy this summer. It will be nice that we will be able to play. So the interesting thing is this project that comes from Russia, from Oleg Danovsky. He's a critic and director in Russia, and they do like a dance theater. Dance theater is from density. The concept is every year in the summer, 3 directors from Russia or all around the world, he chose the directors, came, and they supposed to make a play with the actors. They don't know the actors. They know only what play. The actors don't know what play. Do you hear me, or it stopped? Ah, okay. So they don't know what we're going to play, and we're supposed to make a show in 7 days. On the 7th day, all the shows are presented to the audience, and the audience votes, and the best show is going to be performed on the next season in the theater. It's a really nice experience. It's really, really wonderful. It's like kind of a Russian actor studio too. They're doing very often this kind of stuff there in Russia. And the directors that I've met and with whom I worked were really, really fantastic, and I learned a lot from them. Okay, next picture. You can put the next page. Okay, this is after one of the Roman Teodori. He's also a Russian director. He won dance theater, and he put a show about Molière, about Molière's life. It's like compilation after the Bulgakov book about Molière, and he also made the important scenes from life of Molière, which are also in his opera and his. And here is from Don Juan. I was the beggar that he met, and it was really nice scene, and all the work and all the process were really nice. Okay, go to the next one. We're supposed to go with this show in. We're supposed to go in Kazakhstan. We've been in Kazakhstan, and last year we're supposed to go to Georgia, but it didn't happen because of what happened all around the world. This is the second Nijinsky that I've done at National Opera of Bucharest. We proposed the show because the first show that I've done, it was one-man show. It was right immediately after I finished the faculty. And after that, they proposed to do with somebody else from there, for example, a ballerina. So here at the stage is Monica Petrica, which is prima ballerina at National Opera Theater. And we've done totally different show about the same theme. And it was really, really nice. It was played on the experimental stage, and we were performing all the time in the same time with Tosca, Traviata, and all these big operas. And I can say that it was sold out all the time. So it was a big success, this show that we had. The next one. Mostly I can speak about the work. This is also from Nijinsky. You can put the next one, please. From the National Opera. And because I'm speaking about Nijinsky, this is with Kana from Turandot. And the other one is also a musical, because I'm also a member of Franco-Romanian Association, and we do a lot of projects with them in France, in Marseille. So here we're performing in Lourmarin. It is the place where Albert Camus is died. There is his grave, and this is a wonderful castle. And this is from the Song of the Songs, a musical with it's an opera rock with a contemporary music by the biblical text. It was also Catalina Buzoianu directing it. Really, really wonderful show with a lot of dancing, live musicians, but musicians who were also actors, performers, because this is the way Catalina worked. Everybody participates, even the technicians were important and considered as an artist. We can go for the next one, please. This is from my theater, is some comedy, and the other one is also from My Fair Lady. This is Eliza. I was playing Freddie in My Fair Lady. Okay, the next one. They're randomly put, I didn't make some chronologically or something. This is also a very beautiful project that was written by my friend and colleague Ilana Raducanu. She's a scenarist, and she's also a very good play and screenwriter. She also won some contest about the HBO. And this is a play that was inspired by the true story. Was directed also by Catalina Buzoianu. She was flattered by the text, and she accepted to do it. Unfortunately, this was her last work, because after that she didn't do nothing. She stopped working, and unfortunately now she's not with us anymore. But she was a wonderful artist, and I'm grateful to meet her, because the most of the time I'm what I am today because of her, because she was very inspiring, and I learned a lot of, and I've played in many of her performances. So the two of us, Noi Doi, it means two of us, is a story about a father and a daughter. The mother of the family dies. So the father is very depressed, and the little girl of 9 years supposed to help him to become normal in a way. It's a really nice, emotional, comic drama, but with a great success. And the challenge was to work with this wonderful little girl. She's famous now as a singer, but she was also famous since was little, because she won, like, for 4 years a big festival of singing. She was also a very good dancer, and it was really, really nice show, and really nicely done by Catalina. Okay, we go. And the lady in the middle is also choreographer. She's my friend. We've done a lot of works together, and she made the choreography. But she was also playing. She was one of the characters. She was a teacher of the little one, and she came to resolve the problems in the family. Okay, let's go for the next one. I think you can follow me because. This is also from the show, one conflict scene. She was a really powerful actress. I love her. Maria Enake is her name. This is also from Romeo and Juliet. Next one, please. The opera Romeo and Juliet was played at the Theater of Operetta and Musical. This is a really nice project that I'm doing with my colleagues and friends. It's an independent project. It's called Classic e Fantastic. These are the main characters who tell the stories of the great composers. We have about Mozart, about Rossini, about Gershwin, about Beethoven, about Wagner, Vivaldi, Tchaikovsky, and this is actually, the photo is from Gershwin, and it's educational theater for kids, but also for parents. We had a great success too. We playing it at Odeon Theater in Bucharest, and we had a great success, and we are a great team because most of us, we were colleagues during the university years, and now we continue to work like this. Now we've done some things online, and we start to publish books about it. I can send later. We have book about in English about Tchaikovsky, so I will send it to you. It's for kids, for children, but I think it's very nice. Okay, the next one. This is from another musical independent that I've done, what we've done to America. Here I am with my colleague. This is Julie Maiaia, wonderful singer. She won Voice of Romania for the first edition. She's really, really, really extraordinary with wonderful voice. The next one, also an independent project. We've played a few times, and after that we died because we didn't have support. Also, My Fair Lady, this is from the dance theater, the other picture. The next one, please. Okay, here are some of the shows that we've done. I can say that this one, Dacă e să fie, it was with my students also. I put some of them here, the shows that we also playing in these festivals in the university. And now we're going to make them online. So I can send you a link and maybe you can see it. Some of it, but it's in Romanian. It will be difficult to understand, but we also have one which is only just the stage movement without working, just acting without talking. Okay, the next one, please. Yes, here also some of the important things that we have. I can also say with this Romanian association, Franco-Romanian Association, we've done a lot of projects. One of the most important was when we played at Monaco, in the Philharmonica in Monaco, a musical that was done by Malina Andrei, a very good choreographer and director. Here is also from Odisea 2001, the placket with my students. Okay, we can go to the next one. This was my second one-man show about Dali. I've done a show about Dali, A Vida Dollars, about his life, and it was really nice show because it was done independently, and it was like a multimedia show with a lot of artists who were supposed to work, and it was interactive. And I was also danced with the partners on the screen, video projections, a lot of objects that were remade. The old scenography and costumes were done by Delia Ristovski, my wife. That's how I met her. The other one is from Nijinsky. Okay, we can go to the next one. From the Nijinsky, from the opera. This is also from the theater. It is the one with a lot of costumes. Here is another character. I'm a counter here, the one who has the money. At least like this, I have them. Okay, and the next one, please. It was also a musical with a lot of songs and dancing. It was an interesting show. This is also from Molière. Here, we worked with a very good choreographer, Andriashkin. He was also Russian, and I'm also a dancer, and I like to dance a lot. And we had a very good chemistry, and he created especially this moment. He made the director to accept this this moment, and it was really powerful and wonderful moment. When is Louis XIV, and it was like a parody of him during he was in the stage and watching what I'm dancing. Okay, the next one, please. This is also from the same stuff. The next one. The next one. This is also when was with the Begler, also Molière. The next one, please. Here is some of the shows that I've done with the amateurs, except the one with his Marcia and George. It was my directing, let's say, debut. Here I have two of my students. Kira was my student. I prepared her and she finished the New York Film Academy in Los Angeles. And Jonathan was my student here. He was a singer, but he also made the music for the show. And now he's on the second year of composition. He learning how to be a composition. And he also, when I redone the Nijinsky, the third version, which I'm going to show you a small movie from it, a small teaser. He also made the music for this Nijinsky because I redone it, the whole show. We can go to the next one. It is a show that is played very nice. Marta and Georgia is about Romanian princess. She was really independent and really strong woman. And her relation with her husband, George Bibescu, it was really interesting and really modern. It was 100 years ago, but very actual and really, really interesting relationship. We put it today in these days. This is the Nijinsky, the third version. The photo is also from Nijinsky. It was a challenge during the pandemic because I had a lot of work to do for the theater online and stuff like this, but nothing satisfied me. I needed to work actually normal because during the lockdown in those 4 months at the beginning, we weren't able to work in the theater, even everything was online. So it was really, really difficult to do something. And I came with the idea, I spoke with the manager and she said, okay, we can make a program because here the theaters help the independent artists, at least our theater. They offer the space and the technicians and all the money that goes from tickets goes to the artists. So this is like a solidarity thing that we've done, and hopefully some other theaters, like national theaters and stuff, will do the same thing. Okay, the next picture, I think, is also from the Nijinsky. Yes, you can put the next one, please. So these are like lately, this 1 month ago, I made these photos and everything. I used to play only one show with audience. They give us only 30% of the capacity of the hall to be occupied. And I filmed it then. And after that, we also had a lockdown, but I done once more the show, and I called my students, and it was everything incognito. They came to see because it was really hard to play without the audience, because it's one of my favorite shows in a way. I grow through this show, and all the stage of it was different, and I can see the development of an artist. So I'm going to do, because I have all the recordings since the first one until the last one. So I'm preparing now, I'm thinking to make like a retrospective and to do some movie about the story of it. Okay, we can go to the next one. And I think that's it, yes. And now I told you I'm working a lot at the theater. We're going to have no, it's not premiere. It's going to be for the artistic stuff in the theater. We're going to show the new play. It's Noise Off by Michael Frayn. It's some comedy. Really, really, really well written, but really, really bad directed. And now I'm working with my students, and I'm preparing. I've already done one show. I'm going to give you the link if you're interested. They're students here, their first year of University of Music. They're singers. Most of them are singers, and I'm teaching them acting and stage movement. And they're really talented, really great kids that are inspiring me, and that makes me fresh all the time. So thank you very much. This was in shortly about me and a part of what I've done.
Thank you very much, Philip.
Thank you.
Do you agree? My questions will be at the end because
Yes.
of the time issue. Thank you
Yes.
very much for the
Yes.
wonderful presentation. Now I'd like to invite, yes, Vasil Mikhail, who is one of the most hardworking, talented and multitasking Macedonian theater artists. Currently, he is based in UK, but he is part of the ensemble in National Theatre Anton Panov Strumic in Macedonia, and he is actor, director, scriptwriter, writer, producer, teacher, researcher, very interesting person. So Vasil, I invite you to start with your presentation.
Okay, I just unmute my. Thank you very much for the invitation to be a part of this group of extraordinary, inspiring, very full with variety theater artists. But we know that theater is not only theater; it contains all of the arts. So we are kind of privileged in that sense. Okay, so I did my presentation, just some pictures because there is a lot of material. So I will start the presentation, but in the same time, I will just talk over those pictures and share the screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. Yes, so this is me. This picture is actually made in front of the Globe Theatre, just on the beach of the River Thames. It's a nice one. I like it. Okay, so I'll start with my biography. I want to just divide my presentation, half of it to be about myself and half of it to be, let's say, about the Macedonian theatre in general. So this is a picture from Shakespeare, obviously. Okay, I was involved in theater since I was like 14 years old or something, and then in 1997 I went to same as my colleagues here, some of my colleagues in National Academy for Theatre and Film Arts in Bulgaria, which was really great school. I finished that academy, acting in that academy in 2001. Then I immediately returned to my hometown Strumic and got engaged in the same year in that theater. Later you will see one of the pictures. This is from Anna Batova, which is here as well. I put it intentionally. Then I started to work there, which this year I'll make like 20 years of working in that theater actually. Then in 2002-03, I was selected for these postgraduate courses from MAPA Academy from Netherlands, which gave me a completely different perspective of the theater because they are very avant-garde, very alternative. They work all over the world. So if the Bulgarian Academy was the basis of the classical knowledge to the theater, more of the Russian school, I got the luck to be a student of all these like older professors, which were like working through the 20th century, and it was really luck. So this new school gave me like completely different perspective. So I think that those two worlds basically shaped my my style, my aesthetic. Mostly as writer and director in the future. Acting is just acting. You are obeying the director's and writer's rules, right? So it's from the same performance. And then after that school, where I learned like artistic leadership, scenography, lighting theater, projectors in theater, pantomime, and all those things, I found, this is from a film, I found a non-government organization for culture and arts, which we produce like more than 40 performances in the span of like 16 years. I mean, that was like parallel with my work in the state theater. Well, here to mention that I've played 111 characters, different characters, on stage and on screen, because half of them are on screen, let's say half of them are approximately are on stage. And then after starting this and starting to do this, I started like to do first as director, I'm saying like experimental theater. I had this wonderful alternative groups of amateurs, and so I started like, I was like 21, 22 years old, and I started to do these experiments, which were, I mean, from today perspective, are really crazy, like attempts. And we were performing on the street, in halls, the theater halls, and everywhere. And then I directed like different kind of things, from like classical comedies to Bedekind, for example, to completely different things. But I've directed, like, let's say, the plays I wrote as well. So this is like a part, but also many from different authors. This is also from a film. This is to show some diversity. I was directing as well, like child performances, but also acting in many. I mean, I played Batman even, you know. This is also from Hristo Bojchev, which is very well known Bulgarian drama writer. And yeah, so okay, I will go through these pictures. This is Miss Julie, classic. Oh, this is actually my first performance in Strumica Theater, 2001. Is the famous Sartre play Behind the Doors. I played the door guy, which is completely a small role, but I put it here because I want to emphasize that again, this old proverb, which is saying there are not big and small roles, there are big and small actors. So I'm always glad to have any role in the sense of like the value of the role can be like even if it's small, can be a big value in that sense. So I have like shaved my head for this role. Okay, so this is some other part of my career. Like, for example, I was doing this workshop, The Phenomenon of the Theater. I did it on a couple of places in Macedonia, in Slovenia. Also here to mention that me as actor through the films, I'm probably presented in many countries, but through the films. And through the theater, my performances and me personally playing as actor were presented like over 10 countries, like around 12, 15 countries, I think. This is part of this drama and puppet studio, Dumont, which I founded like 2004, and this is one of the groups. I'm just producing this performance. It was based on Chekhov. It was wonderful, like avant-garde performance. It was not made in a classical way, so it was just wonderful. Okay, so I put this is my last performance I directed in Macedonia. After that, I started to do my master's in film directing, which is another area that I'm working on, like this film. And just to mention this quickly, so my subject of the master's was aesthetic of the object as a main element of the film shot, which is very unexplored area. And I hope I gave my contribution to this area, which is completely a new kind of in the point of view, let's say, in the aesthetic of film. But we are here to talk more about theater, so I'll not go into it. Even though I had, like, with some of my scripts I wrote, I have quite success all over the world, from the United States to Russia, and that script got awards, and recently, yeah, in Macedonia, I was awarded for a couple of scripts, for short films that I wrote. So in order to understand my work, I will hold on to this performance in particular. So to give you more, the title is Second Coming. Is like the biblical, the second coming, right? And this performance is based, and let's say a good share of the text is coming from the famous duo play of Slavomir Morzak, The Immigrants. But I rewrote it and dramatized in a completely different manner than the original one, and also inserted some other texts from our socialist poets, and also a little one from the Bible. So it is actually, the story is beginning how this android from the very far future is coming back to tell us, actually, if we don't get smarter, what is going to happen with us. Obviously, the machine is evolved in a tremendous manner, and so he's telling what happened with the history of Europe. So I just want quickly to tell you that story because I think it will be interesting for you. Actually, what happened with the world, he said that in the meantime, there was a revolution in Europe, which was led by the women, and consequently, a matriarchat was kind of taking over. So the women were taking over, and suddenly all of these capitalist countries and capitalist way of thinking, they turn into communists, but not the communists we know from the past, but the communists, or let's say the North Korean model, but the real communism, where people are really happy and people are really conscious. But in the same time, in China, that didn't happen. So they stayed the kind of the capitalist country. So they are the capitalist leading country in the world at the moment. And so the play is happening 2084, basically. And people from the communist Europe are migrating to China to, I mean, those people who are more like materialistic oriented. So they are going there to work, get some money, and let's say build a better house or something like that. And these are the two women that are playing the main parts, and I inserted another character, which is this android. It is the same android who is coming back from the future, but this one evolved. Yeah, they bought this one on the black market with the pirate software and all that, and he's just serving them. And this black cube that you see behind is kind of some kind of universal machine that can produce and do everything. They are singing here. So talking about the aesthetic of this play is, let's say in one term, we can call it postmodern, but because it have everything inside, it have comedy, it have absurd theater, it have like, it's quite a mix of genres and approaches, but it's not in the manner of, I mean, I don't appreciate personally like these postmodern approaches in the sense of, let's say Marina Abramovich kind of thing. I don't like that. So I don't like to use the word postmodern, but it's more convenient to explain it in short. So they're just singing here, so it have like part of a kind of cabaret approach and musical approach. This is the socialist song that is he's singing in a rock manner. Also the other one, the anthem that Ivanka mentioned in the beginning, this is the new international anthem, like inspired and based on the proletariat anthem, if you remember it, and but with completely different music and text. So these are a bit more pictures of yeah, and at the end basically we see how this android is basically taking the burden of Jesus. So what is the second coming in our contemporary world? How this might happen? Yeah, it's a long. All right, this is. I have a video here in this, but I don't know why I can't play it now. It's one of my other plays that I direct. Also awarded in a few countries. Like this play was awarded in Spain on a festival. Also, some other my plays were awarded in Bulgaria and Serbia. Selected for festivals and things like that. Okay, I'll finish here the presentation about myself, and what I want to talk a little bit more is about the censorship that I faced during my career. So the second coming was the last performance that in Macedonia that was a kind of, let's say, silently censorship. I was not even allowed to make the video recording, even though I agreed to pay myself for it. I organized it, everything, and just in the last minute, they cancel it out of no reason. So I doubt that this was kind of probably political decision, because this play is raising many of the social and political problems we have nowadays, and maybe it was also from other personal reasons, I don't know, but definitely it was censored in a rough manner. It was removed from the repertoire of the theater instruments, and also, I want to mention the other two occasions where I was brutally censored. The one was in 2016, 15-16, when I wrote this political cabaret where we wanted to work. We started, we were halfway there, and they just put a hand of somehow the text, the play leaked. And political players saw it, read it, and they just cut it. They ordered. I was going to work on it. I worked actually. I started halfway there in this high school, because it was requested by the students in this high school, and because they are controlling the director of the school, and they just cut it. I had several meetings with these politicians, but they were all refusing to allow me to do it. And the first time when I faced the censorship was 2007, I think, when I was hired to produce a short play, let's say a half-an-hour play, which they wanted us to perform outdoors. It was some project that they were doing, archaeological research, and on the opening of that project, of the finalizing the project and the official presentation, they wanted to have this short performance. And because only we mentioned, I did it in a comedy manner, right? Only because we mentioned one word, which was the character was saying, my father is a builder of this kind of archaeological sites, and he's winning all of the tenders, like public money from the government. So because only we mentioned that he's winning all of this public money for his company, this guy that was mayor's right hand back then in the time, he called me 30. I had like on my mobile 30 missed calls. Like he wanted actually to cut the performance because this was mentioned in the very beginning of the performance. So he thought probably, oh my God, what they will do till the end, you know. And he called me like 30 times, but I switched off my phone at that time, and I was behind the stage because I was playing in the performance as well. I was appearing at the end. So when I called him back after the performance, of course, we did not anything else. And the audience was like more than 1,000 people, and all the officials were there and all that, you know. But the performance went like great. The audience was satisfied and all that. Everything was nice. But I called him back, and I asked him like, why did you call me like 30 times? Did you want it to cut the performance maybe? Because I realized that that was the problem. And he said, yes. He was so blunt that he even admitted that he wanted to censor me. Actually, I'm talking publicly about this now for the first time, so you are privileged to know it first. Okay, so this is one of the things, let's say, that Macedonian artists can face for one or other reason. For me was one thing, for others can be another thing. And but also now, do I have a little bit more time to talk, or you want me to finish? Okay, I'm pretty sure that you are interested how is the theater in general in Macedonia. So I want to give you a little information about this. So in Macedonia, the theater, let's say most of it is not profitable activity, right? So we have these state theaters, which are in Skopje, have the capital, have several, and all of the a little bit bigger towns, because they are not cities, they are like towns, have their own theater, like Strumica, Bitola, Kumanovo, Veleshti. All of these towns have their own theater. And we have this independent stage, which is also financed by the government. I mean, at least 95% of it. Those who are not financed by the government are really struggling and doing it basically for free. I mean, they are just enthusiasts. I did many of my performances in that way. Sometimes we get support from these governmental theaters, but sometimes we don't. And it's rough in that sense, because in Western Europe, in that sense, is much more easier, because even if you, I mean, you can like have a independent troupe, and you can produce like commercial projects, so you can finance your basically your non-commercial projects, right? Your artistic, let's say, projects, more artistic projects. We roughly have, I mean, we almost don't have that opportunity in Macedonia, because the theater itself is not profitable activity. Still, there are many talented artists in Macedonia in all of the areas, like playwrights, directors, costume designers, scenographers. As we can see, we are spread all over the world. I mean, also our artists who are based in Macedonia, some of them are working in different countries. Myself, I worked in Bulgaria and Serbia at some point. And I think that everyone that is meeting Macedonian theater artists is very inspired by them, and everyone loves them because they really have this spirit inside and this some mix of Mediterranean and Balkan, and in the same time also like knowledge of the world theater, European classical theater, and so we have all that, but we are a small country, and we have many political problems, as you may know, nowadays, and we are struggling, but hopefully I'm let's say optimist in a sense. Hopefully we will improve our situation and kick away the corrupted people and put the proper people. For example, here I want to mention that ITI Center is receiving so little support, and it is so from the government, but ITI is so important actually, especially for our country, because imagine we don't even have the union of drama artists, which is ridiculous. We have let's say, for example, Bulgaria and Serbia, which are our neighbor countries, have like these unions with long tradition, with huge libraries, with they are protecting their artists at least to some degree, you know, and we even don't have a union. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So ITI Center can contribute a lot with these things to improve, but it doesn't have support. So I hope the Ivanka and other members will be persistent enough, will have that energy so we can get there at some point.
Will be.
Okay.
We are. Thank you very much, Marcel.
Yes, I will finish here. Thank you very much. I put this picture here of myself, and this t-shirt is actually from the Shakespeare festival in Bitola. So it reads, if you can see, to be or not to be. This is also in front, the picture in front of the Globe Theatre on the Thames. Yeah, so we'll continue with some questions if you have later. Yes, Ivanka?
Awesome. Thank you very much for your intensive, very informative and very useful presentation.
Thank you.
Now, so see you a little bit later. Now I'd like to invite one of the most talented theater directors from the newer, younger generation, Georgi Rizevski, who is working in national theaters in Macedonia, in Serbia, and also he's very active in independent scene, particularly Zlatan Elec's theater. He was one of the most successful this past year during COVID, and he even managed to awake with his performances and his wonderful actors the attention of local theater critics, which is something very delicate. So, Georgi, please, you can start with your presentation, and thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. As you said, I'm Georgi. I work in the National Theatre National Theatre in Ohrid. I wish I had worked in National Theatre London for about for about 6 years. And as you said, I'm trying to work as hard as I can. I'm managing to direct 4 plays per year, so that's my pace, and I'm trying to maintain it. And so far I have for about 25, and I think that it's very, how can I say, we have some obligations as theater workers, especially this period of time, to maintain our work and to work even more because we owe it to the people. I think that it's very important to stay mentally healthy, as physically as well. I think I think it's even more important to stay mentally healthy this period. And I don't think we as a group, I think as a whole world in theater done enough, and I have some obligations to the audience who are. That's how I see a thing and my work, because we are doing all this for them, and you know, there are a lot of things in the world, like planes are full of people and buses are full of people, but theaters have strict protocols, and we are maintaining distance. I think nobody has been ill by COVID in theater during a performance. So, because for example, my last play that I've done, Cyrano, in the National Theatre Ohrid, the audience, the theater has 600 people can maintain, but there were only like 100. So, and they were all wearing masks, and they had strict protocols, and nobody gets ill. So I think what needs to be done, I think, especially in Macedonia, because I work here right now and I'm living here, so I see how things are done. I don't think we've done enough, and there's no theater at the moment. We are working like underground. I'm serious. We are working underground. I have rehearsals right now. I'm not sure if I can tell you about that. My point is, we owe it to the people to stay mentally healthy. I want to tell one story, just one short story. I was one time in Palestine, and they told me one story when they were 1 week under how to call it. They were I forgot.
Down or is sort of isolation or quarantine or what?
Yeah, occupation. They were under occupation.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry, I forgot. They were under occupation for 1 week, and they had only 1 day in the whole week, like 1 hour, to go and buy groceries, and that's how they feed themselves for a whole week. And in that 1 hour, one group of people gather around, they put some masks and they put some costumes like clowns, and they go on the street. In that 1 hour, they didn't buy food, but they did some tricks, and they tried to put some smiles on the people's faces, you know, because they owe it to the people in that 1 hour, in that particular 1 hour. And that's how the theater is formed, you know. And I think that's the most inspiring story, because in that period, everybody was thinking about how they're going to feed themselves, or what they're going to do with this politics, the crisis, everything. But some group of people said, you know what, we need to stay mentally healthy as well. And they went out on the streets, and they done some juggling, and I don't know, maybe some comedy or whatever. And that story is very inspiring to me. And I think from our point of view, I said it once, maybe I don't know how many times, I think we need to do more. And that's how I see things. As I said, I'm trying to work as hard as I can and put smiles in people's faces, and that's my thing right now.
Georgi, this last few months, past year, one of the most successful performances was The Madman's Diary. It was very good performance, very intense, very complex. Boban, the leading actor, was brilliant. I also put an accent and share the trailer of that performance. If Simonetta can play it, and you can talk about that performance.
Yeah. Well, we as a group, we've done Diary of a Madman 1, and then we've done Diary of a Madman Cannibalism, which is the second part. And now we are trying to maybe in October, I don't know, maybe we'll work again in Diary of Amendment Part 3. And everything began, like as I said, for the love of the theater, and we want to bring something back to the audience, and that's pretty much it. It's very successful play. It travels all around the world, and even in Singapore, and that's about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions, or that's it?
So yes, we can start with a short Q&A session. Of course, tell me when will be your upcoming where the upcoming premiere, for which day, for which month is planned? When you mentioned that you are currently working on a new play. So,
Where in this moment I'm working on Hera Gabler, which is famous text from Henrik Ibsen, and Patrick Marver also. He has done one new version of it. I put both authors in one play, and we are working on the ground in the moment. And the play, I hope, will be play in front of the audience first thing when, I don't know, when the government says so. When they can say go, and we'll go. That's it.
Tell me, what do you think about Macedonian underground audience who comes to your performances and enjoys? And what is happening?
Yeah, well, as I said, I have one play, Diary of Amendment 2, Cannibalism. It's like some kind of laboratory, more of, and it's play in a house. Literally in a house, and the audience is like guests, and they come. It's only for 10 people, I think, but it's very private, like I say, very. But it went well. Everybody liked it. They had some new experiences during the play, and everybody after the play talks about it. They like that stuff because. In our country, I don't think we have enough of some maybe new styles of theater, new types of theater. Maybe it's more like I think we need to experiment even more, especially in this period of time, because now we are strict with actors and protocols and everything, and I think we need to bring even more not experiments, but some new kinds of styles in theater. I'm not all about this new thing with I like live theater, I think the audience should be one person standing and one person playing in front of them, so we can call it a play. And I think there should be in all around the world, not only in Macedonia, but all around the world, protocols for theater. And I think the number one thing that should open from this evening, it should be the theaters, because they bring so much mental strength to the people, not just directly, indirectly, but there are protocols, and everything can function so well. I don't think it's I don't think it's something that adds people ill, and that's my opinion.
Thank you very much. There is one question from ITI Italy for Philip. Philip, can you answer it, please?
Yes, I've read the question. It's my pleasure to this kind of stuff, and I will tell you how it started. When I came in Romania, I didn't speak Romanian, so I was supposed to learn it before I do my exams for the university. And we had the premiere with Turandot, and we went to Marsilia. And Bulandra Theater has a tradition to go away with in Marsilia, so they were also staying like for 1 week or 2 weeks, and they went there with the many shows from the repertoire of the theater. And this time the manager from there, he said, but I will kindly ask you to play it in French. And all the great actors, Maya, the leadings, everybody said, oh, of course, yes. And I was, oh my God. And I was playing Calaf, leading role. I don't speak French. Ah, don't worry. Madame Katarina said, you will learn it. So I spent like 1 month to learn all the lines in French. And after that, I saw that it's very nice when the public, where you go, you play in that language, and they had a really nice reaction about that. So when the Odyssea started, it was the international project, and I said, let's do it like this. And Catalina said, oh, of course, it's a very good idea. And initially, it's supposed to be only in English, but Romanian is very close to Italian, so we could learn it much easier. And also Romanian is close to French language, and this is how we start. And it was like a sort of competition. And all these great actors from every country, which are native speakers, they helped us during the text. And it was really nice working progress experience, because the show was like a chameleon. Every time was played in different places, open spaces, mostly of it, and we're supposed to adapt it. It was a really, really live show in many different ways. And after that, when I've done Nijinsky also, I played it in French, in Russian, because I've been to Kiev with it, in Serbian, Macedonian, because I played it in National Theater of Bitola, my hometown, and English too. So it's my pleasure. And now this year, at the end in December, I'm supposed to go once again in Marseille to play it in French. It's my pleasure. I like to do this kind of stuff.
Thank you. There is one. Thank you very much, Philip. There is one question for Vasil from ITI Italy.
Yes, I read the question. Yeah, it is strange that in 21st century we are facing like censorship. Me personally, of course, it's very hard to face the censorship. And as I mentioned, I didn't speak publicly about that. Maybe I will from now on, because I just didn't want it at that time to how to put it, like to be well known because of that. Although I mean, most of the people probably know me because I play in this series on the TV like almost every day there, and but it's very hard when you face that your work. I mean, the theater was always an art that is raising the questions, that is trying to awake the public about some issues, and giving a critique. I mean, from Shakespeare to from the, I mean, even the anti-Greek writers and Roman writers are doing that, right? So in one or another way, like, but especially for Macedonian theater, many of the authors also like critic, but they are usually wrapping up the content that critic. It's not so direct. So was ridiculous when I had all these meetings with the politicians. I mean, their justifications why they want to cut it are just ridiculous, because in the same time there are other people who through stand-up comedy or like some animation shows are doing that. But what I figured is that because Macedonia is a small country, 2 million people, and most of it divided in two parties, right? Two main parties. So if you are not affiliated with one of that party, then you are just out of the terrain, out of the field, and they are trying, they can do whatever they want to you, because one of the parties is not protecting you, no one is protecting you. We don't have union, as I mentioned. You are just vulnerable to all those attacks. Is there a solution? Of course, yes. I think first we need to form that union what I'm talking about, and to start to have this protection, not only for this kind of events like censorship, but also for the payments, like, for example, the TV channels that are producing series, but also the film industry that is producing. No one is protecting the actors. I mean, they will blackmail you, like tell you like, you come play for this money. And when I remember when I was a student in Bulgaria, for example, even while we were students, a representative of the union will come into class and just notify us, let us know that we are not allowed to play below this kind of payment, right? And in Macedonia, the producers are abusing so much of this power they have, because the artist doesn't have other opportunities to earn money, so they are just forced to work for the money that are offered, which is really low payment. Yes, I mean, the political control is always there, but I was also surprised because my friend, which is very well-known director in Macedonia, he is now over 80s, but he was quite famous in his times. And he told me that in the socialistic, let's say, communistic times, they even did a performance, one of them, they did many critique performances, but one of them was even with the literally the names of the actual ministers and government officials back then, and they were not censored. I mean, so you know, it's like ridiculous that we are facing these kind of things nowadays, but obviously not many things change. So we will have to work on that. We will have to fight for our rights. That's the only way I see it. And maybe lobby to political representatives to raise these issues as well. And so I shout out to you, Italian Center, and but through you to all other to support ITI Macedonia Center, maybe even to write some letters to the Ministry of Culture and the government that of course, maybe if we get this support from the foreign countries from outside, maybe they will get more aware and they will increase the support for ITI. And yeah, so I hope I answered the question. Thank you.
There is, I just like to add that those questions are from the audience who is following the current streaming. And there is one question for Georgi. So Georgi, please, can you answer it?
Yes, yes, I read the question. Well, the play is about one people that wants and needs to do more in life. And in all my plays, that particular theme is very important to me, because I think that some people have professions and some people have jobs, and I think it's the number of the people who has jobs is like maybe 95% in the whole world, and I think that everybody needs to ask themselves first of all what they want to do with their life, and what are their interests, what they're interested in, and what they love maybe, and find something they're good at and just go tunnel vision in that particular area and have a profession. I think we lack those kinds of people, and the play is about that.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Ivanka. Just sorry, one technical thing, because Tobias has a problem with the laptop, so before he might get out of the meeting for the battery problem, if he can say something, and then we'll go to the conclusion of the meeting. Sorry for thank you.
No problem.
Please, Tobias.
Okay, hello everybody, and I would like to thank you on behalf of ITI for all the stories with joy and sorrow. And also, like for me, it was a very nice experience to hear about your what you do. And what interested me most was the creative process that you touched, maybe directly, maybe indirectly, and what you are doing. So it's really very interesting for me. And my experience in Macedonia is very little. I was only at the festival in Bitola, but and I didn't meet so many Macedonian people there, but all from people from all over the world. So I have not much experience with Macedonian theater, just what was shown at the Bitola. But something I never will forget, and I would like to do in the future, is eating a shopska salata in Bitola. It's the best of the world. And we had every evening after the shows, we went to a restaurant and ate this salad, and everybody was happy. And but what I saw today gives me hope. The pictures you showed me for what you have done, and it made me very much long for being in the audience and look at the play live. And you give me a lot of hope. So thank you very much for organizing it. Thank you very much, Ivanka, Fabio, and Roberta. And I think it's almost over with my laptop. See you soon somewhere in the world, and take care. Stay in good health. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tobias. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, now, Ivanka, if you want to say something about the conclusion, then I will say just little words too.
Yes. There is no time for my shorter presentation, but there are going to be another opportunities. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you very much for all the Macedonian artists who accept to present themselves, and they share very honest, very systematic resumes, and I really enjoyed. I hope so the Italian audience too. So I really, how can I say, I'm very much enthusiastic that ITI network will initiate and support many other similar or different international opportunities like this for exchanging our experience, perspectives, and point of views. And because international visibility is stimulating, and it is a good how can I say, mirror when we talk about that, where we're going, what kind of quality we produce, and where is our place in the world. So thank you very much.
Yes, I want to thank you, everybody. Essentially, in this period, we need to increase and promote the mobility of the artists. It's very important, you know. International Theatre Institute, the main goal is the internationalization of the activities. You know that we have similar activities in a certain way connected with the site-specific performances and other things, but also it's very important to relaunch a common activities. This meeting, the main goal is to promote common project, and also was very interesting for us to listen to your experience. And also we are very happy, and also, like I've said at the beginning, we will host in the website of ITI Worldwide this meeting too. And the next meeting will be with the United Kingdom, and then we restart, I think, in September. And also, of course, my feeling is that we will restart to have performances with the people, because the right of the people to come to the theater is an essential right. it's very important to restart, to be ready to restart with all our energy. And I'm sure that also that you will do your best to do this work. Thank you very much one more time.
Thank you so much.
See you soon. We hope.
Thank you very much. Thank you.